Sya Bhavyo me shohi nirhata Aho me pashyata jnanam Hirdi rudham duratmana Parakyasyaiva dehasya Bhavyo me shohi nirhataha Aho me pashyata jnanam Hirdi rudham duratmana Prakshayasya dehasya Bhavyo me kshohi nirhataha Aho me pashyata jnanam Hirdi rudham duratmana Parakshasya deva dehasya Bhavyo me shohi nirhataha Aho me pashyata jnanam Hirdi rudham duratmana Parakyasyaiva dehasya Bhavyo me shohi hata. Okay, so aho, oh, me, my, pashyata, just see, agyanam, ignorance, hirdi, in the heart, rudham, situated in, duratmanaha, of the sinful, parakyasya, meant for others, eva, certainly, dehasya, of the body, bhavya, many, many, me, by me, akshohini, combination of military phalanxes, hataha, killed. So we have the translation. King Yudhishthira said, "O my lord, I am the most sinful man. Just see my heart, which is full of ignorance. This body, which is ultimately meant for others, has killed many, many phalanxes of men." So we can repeat. King Yudhishthira said, "O my lord, I am the most sinful man. Just see my heart, which is full of ignorance. This body, which is ultimately meant for others, has killed many, many phalanxes of men." Okay, so I will just continue reading text 49 and 50. We meant to be covering all three, so I'll just read it out. Bala dvija surun mitra pitra bhratar guru durha name sayan nirayan moksho hi api varshat yuta yutehi naino ragna praja bhartur dharma yuddhe vado dvisham iti me na tu bodhaya kalpate shashanam vachaha. Okay, so the purport of text 48, by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So he says, a solid phalanx of 21,870 chariots, 21,870 elephants, 109,650 infantry, and 65,600 cavalry is called an akshoni. Akshoni is like a division of the army. So that particular division of army had so many chariots and so many elephants. And many Akshonis were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Maharaj Yudhishthir as the most pious king of the world, takes for himself the responsibility for killing such a huge number of living beings because the battle was fought to reinstate him on the throne. So here, Maharaj Yudhishthir is feeling like that just simply because he is being put on the throne, and for his sake, so many people had died, and amongst them, there are many innocents as well, because in any war, while both sides of the army are killed, there's also some casualties which are innocent civilians. And in that, women and innocent children and even Brahmins, who are representatives of religion, they also get killed. So Yudhishthir Maharaj here is lamenting over that fact that just he feels very selfish that just simply that he is sitting in the throne. For his sake, so many people have died, soldiers have died, innocents have died, women, children, they're without fathers. So he is lamenting over that. And he's taking the responsibility on himself. So he says, this body, after all, is meant for others. While there is life in the body, it is meant for service for others. And when it is dead, it is meant to catch any dogs or jackals or maggots. So he considers his body because he's a king, and he wants his body to be in service for others. And while he's alive, he's in service for others. And while he's dead, when his body is when he's left his body, it's meant for jackals and dogs to eat. So the body is of use to others while he's alive, but even when he's dead, the body is of use to animals. So it's of use to someone. So he is very sorry. He is very, very sorry because of such a temporary body has carried out a huge massacre that was committed in the Kurukshetra battle. So he's lamenting. And the purport goes on to explain, whenever there is a war, there is certainly a massacre of many innocent living beings, such as boys, Brahmins, and women, whose killing is considered to be of greatest sins. It's correct. They are all innocent creatures, and in all circumstances, killing them is forbidden in the scriptures. Maharaj Yudhishthir was aware of these mass killings. Similarly, there were friends, parents, preceptors along on both sides, and all of them were killed. So he's not only lamenting for the innocent, but he's also lamenting for his friends, his relatives. Bhishma Pitama was amongst them. His own spiritual master was amongst them. Spiritual master's children, his cousins, so many. So he's lamenting all of them. And he doesn't see fit that his throne was worth the lives of so many. It was simply horrible for him to think of such killing, and therefore he was thinking of residing in hell for millions and billions of years. So he considered himself to be such a sinner that he wanted to be in hell and pay for his sins. Just the last purport, it's a small one. Maharaj Yudhishthir thought that although he was not actually involved in the administration of the kingdom, which was being carried on well by Duryodhan without harm to the citizens, he caused the killing of so many living beings only for his personal gain of the kingdom for the hands of Duryodhan. The killing was committed not in the cause of administration, but for the sake of self, this is a hard word, aggrandizement, and as he thought himself responsible for all the sins. So even he was taking upon himself the sins committed by Duryodhan. So we'll do a little bit of a Mangal Charan before we start. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpa trubhyascha kripa sindhuva evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bir Krishna Goswami Niti Namne Namo Hamsa Nikashaya Prabhupada Priyate Shuddhi Nistabhem Tasya Vakyanuvadine. So I was listening to, actually wondering, when I was reading this purport, which I did a little bit of pre-reading last night, Yudhishthir Maharaj is lamenting over the uselessness of his body. And I kind of thought, okay, let's look at it from a different perspective. He's talking about his body. And we are taught that we are the soul, not the body. And he's saying that his body should be of use to others. So I got Srila Prabhupada's comments and on this. So I went back to his class on this particular text to see what he has got to say about this particular text. Yudhishthir Maharaj is lamenting because we kind of thought that when the Bhagavad Gita, before the Bhagavad Gita started, Arjun was lamenting also. He didn't want to kill any of his relatives. He didn't want to kill anyone. And he put down his ashras and shastras. And then he asked, Lord Krishna, please guide me, be my guru. I don't want to kill anyone. He was, before the Kurukshetra battle, Arjun was lamenting. And here we have the slight opposite, but lamentation is still going on with his brother, Yudhishthir Maharaj. He's lamenting after the battle. Everyone's dead. Everyone's killed. And the lamentation continues. So, well, Krishna actually enlightened Arjun about what he should be doing. Here is Yudhishthir, he's basically questioning the same thing again. So it's the same thing happening twice. And so when I went to Srila Prabhupada's class, he explains that Yudhishthir here is saying this body is meant for others. So first of all, he said we have to ascertain who does this body belong to. Does it belong to us, or does it belong to others? Or who exactly does this body belong to? And in that's the first point. And so he then further dissected this. He said materially this body belongs to someone, and spiritually this body belongs to someone. So materially this body actually belongs to our parents because they are the ones who gave this to us. We got our body from our parents. So materially speaking, this body belongs to our parents. So when we are living in a material world, we serve our parents. And another interesting point he said was the material body actually belongs to the one who feeds it. So in that sense, if we are working outside because our body, we actually maintain it. We feed it to maintain it. It's our responsibility. We've been given a body. And in order to maintain the body, we actually get paid a salary or something. We work for someone. And so they maintain it. So then that body belongs to your employer. So who here works outside? I do. Does that mean materially speaking, my body belongs to my employer? Someone in Villabud there, where I'm working. That's really, I thought that this body was mine. But it's not, materially speaking. But then Srila Prabhupada says, spiritually, actually, intelligence spiritually, this body actually belongs to Krishna. And then the question arises, how does it belong to Krishna? Spiritually speaking. And he said, that is intelligence. This body actually belongs to Krishna. But the question is how, in what way? I mean, there's facts behind it. And Prabhupada actually explains it. He says this body, it's comprised of the 5 elements. Namely the what? Water, fire, air, earth, ether, the sky. Yes, the 5 basic elements. And then after that, there's more. There's 3 other elements, the mind, intelligence, false ego. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I'm all. He's the one who's the creator, and he creates fire, he creates earth. So spiritually speaking, actually, materially speaking, nobody can actually create earth. They can't create fire. They can't create air. So then there is no proprietor for the 5 elements. So whoever is the proprietor of the 5 elements owns what this body is comprised of, which is the 5 elements. So he kind of proves that, okay, Krishna, Lord Krishna is the owner of your body because he's created the ingredients that go into your body, the senses and all that. So in that way, he does. And he nourishes our body too. We are actually in debt to Krishna because we use the sunshine, we use the water, and we don't really pay. So he says then, real sanity is to understand that this body actually belongs to Krishna. So then this Yudhishthira Maharaj is lamenting that this body is meant for others. He didn't lament that this body is actually made for Krishna. That was the difference. And I kind of thought, but they are 5 Pandavas and they are devotees, and they're meant to understand that they belong to Krishna. So how come Yudhishthira Maharaj is lamenting over a material fact? And then Srila Prabhupada actually explains this later, quite with clarity. He says, Arjun is on a higher grade, Srila Gopinath ki jai. Arjun is on a higher grade platform. So he is able to understand a little bit better than Yudhishthira Maharaj. So he kind of explains that. But here he says, real sanity is to understand that this body belongs to Sri Krishna. And he also explains a little bit further on the arguments that the Mayavadis and our philosophy, the Vaishnava philosophy. Mayavadis, they say, Aham Brahmasmi, which means I'm one with Lord Krishna, and therefore I am Lord Krishna. But it's not the fact. Our Vaishnava philosophies, we are part and parcel, but we are not Krishna. We are part and parcel of Krishna, but we are not Krishna. And he explains this very nicely. He says the finger and the body can claim that he's part and parcel of the body, but the finger can never claim he is the body, because the finger is just a weakened finger. He's part and parcel. So therefore, our bodies, our souls, we are part and parcel of Krishna, but we can never be all of Krishna. We're part of Krishna. So he explains that quite nicely too. So let's see what else. And he also explains then, now that we have ascertained who the body belongs to, what should we do with the body? Okay, now we know Yudhishthira Maharaj's body belongs to Krishna. Our body belongs to Krishna. What should we do with it? Because outside in the real world, the ladies, they go around chanting with the slogan, "My body, my choice. My body, my choice." And a lot of others, we feel the same way. It's my body, it's my choice. Actually, it is not our body, and it is not our choice. We do have a choice, we do have a will, we do, but there are reactions or the actions, every action has a reaction attached to it. So the wise thing is to actually choose to understand that it belongs to Krishna and use our body accordingly. And that would conclude, the conclusion would be then to use your body for Krishna, right? But why would Krishna want your body to be used for him? He is self-sufficient. He doesn't need anyone or anything. So why does he want you to use his body? And then Srila Prabhupada actually explains further in his class. He says, well, if you are renting a dwelling, say that you are renting a place, what do? You pay rent, right? To who? The landlord. And why do we pay the rent to the landlord? Is because he owns the flat, whatever it is that you're renting, the house, the dwelling. We are also dwelling in a body that belongs to Krishna. We are renting it from him. So we have to pay our dues. We have to pay our tax. And we do that through service of Lord Krishna. So what does that mean? Well, use this body to be of service. The highest service, obviously, is to be serving the Vaishnavas. That pleases Krishna the most. We can endeavor to serve him directly, but the best way to go is to serve the Vaishnavas. And serving the Vaishnavas comes with having respect for the Vaishnavas. And then there is not just the Vaishnavas, we serve others. Because once we love Krishna, we have to love everything, all part and parcels of him. Loving Krishna means loving Krishna and his dog. When there's a couple that gets married And the husband, he thinks that, okay, I've got my wife. But he ends up, accepting the wife's mother, the wife's family, the wife's dog, the wife's cat. He has to love them all. And then he is going to have a happy marriage. So when we love Krishna, we've got to apply that principle too. Love Krishna, love all his devotees, love all his entities, and serve them with compassion. So if anyone's out there needing our help, we don't say, oh, well, our rules are that, we can't do this, we can't do that. If someone's in need, you help them in the name of Lord Krishna. Krishna will be pleased. Like that. So that's using our bodies. Now, in this instant, Yudhishthira Maharaj, what did he do with his body? He actually, he fought the battle. He killed so many. So with his body, he killed so many. It was just a few pages before this text, we read in the purport, 640 million soldiers were killed, 640 million, and hundreds of thousands of soldiers were reported missing. And then there are also some innocents who died. So there's a lot, and Yudhishthira did this with his body. But Yudhishthira Maharaj here, Prabhupada explains, was not thinking the correct way. He was not thinking like Arjun, that I am using this body for the satisfaction and the pleasure of Krishna. So that's the answer. Use your body for the satisfaction and pleasure of Lord Krishna. Even if it means killing someone? Yes. Arjun did. Why? Because they were not on the side of dharma. And they were basically, a lot of them, when we discussed in our previous classes, they were all like demons taking birth on this planet Earth, because there was some fighting between the demigods and the demons lost, and they didn't have a place to go, so they decided to come and hide on planet Earth. And they took birth as administrators, and so many kings. And Yudhishthira, the Pandavas, 5 Pandavas, Lord Krishna, they also took birth just to get rid of these demons. So they had to be killed. And all these demons were actually related to the 5 Pandavas, but still they were demons, demonic. So they had to be killed. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj is behaving like an ordinary man, although he's not. He's a very high devotee of Lord Krishna. But for our own enlightenment, he's in the beginning, Arjun does this question, and then so does Yudhishthira Maharaj. And again, we are explained here that you used your body for the service of Lord Krishna, even if it means killing someone. So, and then there was a very nice example that Prabhupada used also, was that when Lord Krishna sometimes, as you know, he plays tricks, and he was pretending to be sick. He was pretending to be, I'm pretty sure he never gets sick, but he is pretending to be sick. And so many physicians came to seek Lord Krishna. This is in Dwarka. And none of the physicians could cure Krishna. I'm sick. Can you imagine Krishna? I'm sick. Anyway, then Krishna comes up with his own concoction of medicine, how to cure himself. He says, I shall be cured if I get the dust of my devotees, the dust of the feet of my devotees. But his devotees, they know he's God. So how can you give the dust of your feet to God? You feel kind of, well, first of all, you think you'll go to hell for doing such a sinful activity. But secondly, how can you give the dust of your feet to somebody who's so great? So even Narad Muni was approached, and he said the same thing. He's too great, he's God, I can't give. So no one gave the dust of Lord Krishna's feet. So none of them were utilizing their bodies for the pleasure and satisfaction of Krishna here. Then they went to the gopis, and the gopis said, oh, he's sick, he must get well. We don't care if we go to hell. As long as he gets well. They shook off the dust of their feet, because they don't care about going to hell for Krishna. So this is like the service on pure platform, pure love. And the closest that we come to that is a mother for the child right now. A mother will go through so many things for their child. That's the closest thing. They don't care about their discomfort. They do anything for their child. And the gopis, that's the closest thing I would say that I've found on this planet, a mother's love for the child. But these gopis, that's why they're known as, on the highest of platforms. They're worshipable, because they're ready to go to hell for Krishna. So then the answer is that you do anything for Krishna, anything. in that regard, when I went on parikrama to Govardhan with my spiritual master, with some other disciples and devotees, we were doing the parikrama around Govardhan in India, and we came across a tree, and that one was a desire tree apparently. And I actually had asked my spiritual master beforehand, which are the desire trees, because I want to go and wish on every tree, because we have so many desires. And he said, there are none. There's no trees, and I won't tell you. The reason was that we might desire for something that we shouldn't. We have to be very careful. So he basically directed us. This is the tree, and this is what you wish for. What is it that he asked us to wish for was, you ask for more service of Lord Krishna. But when he said that, I kind of hesitated. And I thought, because then this is why I hesitated, was, what if Lord Krishna doesn't want me to ask for service? What if he wants me to ask something else? So I kind of like thought, okay, since Gurudev is asking us to ask for service, I will ask, but before that, I'm going to ask the desire tree to give me the blessing that I may please Krishna with whatever he wants. If he wants me to have service, I will do that. If he doesn't want me to have service to please him, I will have that also. Of course, I was wrong. I should not have done that later, because in this class, Srila Prabhupada explains that Krishna, he guides us from internally. Of course, he's like our guru. Chaitya Guru, that's what he said. He guides us internally, but because our senses are so dull in Kali Yuga, we are not that smart, intelligent, we are not. So we are unable to pick it up from internally. So he has to expend that internal Guru, Siksha, externally in the form of a spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and they're here to guide us. So so Krishna does help us, internally and externally. And so when my spiritual master was telling me to ask for service, it was actually Lord Krishna. So it was the same thing. Basically, if there's a bona fide spiritual master who represents Lord Krishna, a bona fide one, not the bogus one. I will talk about the bogus spiritual master in just a second. But he said, whatever the spiritual master says is actually Lord Krishna's wish. So I should have asked for that wish straight away without question. Ask for the service. But I did it in a roundabout way, but it's the same thing. The spiritual master's wish is Lord Krishna's wish. So coming to that point that I was talking about, a spiritual master who is not bona fide. This was the example with Bali Maharaj. What did Bali Maharaj's spiritual master say when Vamandev came to him? Don't give him what he asked for. What did the gopis say when they were asked for the dust of Lord Krishna's feet? They didn't say no. They said, yes, take it. But Bali Maharaj is a demon king, and his spiritual master is Shukracharya. And Shukracharya says, this is not he's not a small person. He is actually Lord Vishnu. Don't give him anything he asked for. Bali Maharaj, he is his spiritual master, but he decides not to do as the spiritual master asks. Why? Because he is not. He was actually looking after his own personal interests, basically. The spiritual master here was actually in exploitation of his own disciple in that sense, because Bali Maharaj was maintaining Shukracharya. And Shukracharya was, whatever it was that he was receiving. So he thought, what shall I do if everything is taken away by Lord Vishnu, then where will I go? So he was thinking about himself. So what happens here is Bali Maharaj basically rejects his own spiritual master by not accepting his instructions. He gives Lord Vishnu the 3 steps of land, basically everything he gives. So this is on the point of doing everything in the service of Lord Krishna, using your body, using anything that you can for the service of Lord Krishna, even if it means, giving away everything that you own, even if it means rejecting your own spiritual master, which is quite a strong one. So you better pray that your spiritual master is not that kind who will stop you from, serving Lord Krishna. In that respect, that's why we are very lucky. We have Srila Prabhupada and his instructions and some very nice spiritual masters who are teaching us the right things, and we are on the right path. So on that regard, there's probably more. Oh, yes. So why does Lord Krishna actually tell somebody to kill? And then why does Lord Krishna desire somebody to simply give the dust of their feet? They're two separate instructions. Like, for example, Yudhishthir Maharaj here and Arjun was asked to kill, Yudhishthir Maharaj was asked to kill. And then Lord Krishna wants something else from someone else. It's not the same. In other words, the instructions given by Lord Krishna, or even the spiritual master, is definitely not the same for everyone. Definitely not. You don't receive the same instructions. Why? Because Krishna loves variety. Variety is the mother of enjoyment. Those are Srila Prabhupada's words. But in our material world, we say variety is the spice of life. But Krishna likes that spice. And he also knows that different beings, different souls, different bodies are meant for different kind of service. I've actually had first-hand example of that one. When I was actually just meeting my spiritual master, I wasn't really chanting. I mean, I thought I was chanting. I thought I was chanting in my heart all the time. So when my spiritual master asked me, have you been chanting? I said, yes, Guru Maharaj, all the time. He said, how? I said, I chant in my heart all day. And I thought he would be pleased with that. And he looked at me, and it wasn't a look of being pleased with me. He was like, so he said, but are you chanting on your beads? And I said, no. He said, are you chanting any rounds? He said, no. He said, from now, I want you to chant 16 rounds. So practically from 0, I went to 16 overnight. So what's the difference here? Because one of the programs I was attending, and when he asked one lady, how many rounds are you chanting? And she said, oh, Guru Maharaj, I'm chanting 1 round. And he said, perfect, great, excellent. I was like, there he is telling me 16 rounds, and he's telling the other lady, oh, she's perfect. There's a difference. Why? Because the spiritual master knows you can do this. They are experts, and so is Lord Krishna. They know what you are capable of. So my spiritual master must have known that I'm capable of doing 16, and that is what I really did overnight. I was actually a university student at the time, but I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I finished my 16 rounds. And obviously it was very difficult, because doing 1 round would have been difficult. 16 was very bad for me, very difficult, but I did it. So, but the whole thing was that different, what is the word? There's different strokes for different folks. I'm not quite sure if it's rude or not. But anyway, different people are different. Their capacity is different. So the service to Lord Krishna will also be different, and the service to Srila Prabhupada will also be different. And as far as this body is concerned, Krishna does give you that indication, if you're lucky, that this body doesn't belong to you. Like, I was only initiated maybe 5 minutes in ISKCON, maybe 18 months of initiation, and I was just living near Gopinath temple that time, and I was Gopinath's cook. I was cooking every day, practically every day for Gopinath. And I had to move for some reason, and I didn't have anyone to move my heavy furniture, and I'm being a lady and also not very strong, and I had to lift all these things, and I did it because I had to empty the flat by a certain deadline time. And I kept at it, and I wouldn't sit down, and I did it myself, and it was very hard work. And finally, because I have these little deities, they said, sit down and rest my body. And I said, who said that? Rest my body. I thought this body was mine. I heard that very clearly. Rest my body. So then I had to sit down and rest. Because then I realized this body is not mine. It is not mine. So at a very early stage, I kind of realized that. We need to understand that. And once we do that, then we try to feed our body with things that would please Lord Krishna. Prasadam, non-alcohol, no meat, all those things. And obviously not do the things that Krishna would like, or would not like, sorry. Don't do the things that Krishna would not like. So a little bit more on the purport that goes on. Chapter 1.8.49, it is telling us, where am I? I've lost it. I shouldn't have closed it. Protection of the citizens. It says wherever there is a war, there is a massacre of boys, Brahmins and women. And basically it is telling us that the children and the Brahmins, and they should be protected. Actually, protected cows also, cows. And in this class, during when Prabhupada was speaking, he said, why is it a priority that cows and Brahmins be protected? In fact, the cow takes first priority. The Brahmins take second one. Anyone has an answer to that? Why would we want to protect the cows and Brahmins first? They are other living beings. Why not equal? Yes. Yes. That is a good answer. And in Prabhupada, that is the right answer. His answer was that Brahmins, they sustain the society by the milk of the cow. That is right. Because Prabhupada said there will be no humanity. If there are no cows and no Brahmins, there will be no humanity. Even though if the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, they are worshippers of Lord Vishnu, they are like Vaishnavas. But unless they take instructions from the Brahmin, the society would crumble. There would be no humanity. Because Kshatriyas fight, Vaishyas, they do all this, whatever it is that they do, the selling or they are not on that same intelligence platform. So they have to take instructions from the Brahmin in order to have a perfect society, a peaceful society. And the cows above that. So that was another thing about this war that Prabhupada said. And Ashreshth Brahmin. That means one who is the best of Brahmins. Because they are born Brahmins, right? They are Vaishnava families and they are Brahmin families, they're born. But another one is a Brahmin that is, first of all, born by the parents, and then second born is by the spiritual master, the Dvija. So the Dvija, that one is the Shresht Brahmin that we take instructions from. And so Yudhishthir Maharaj here should have basically done, but because he was confused, he actually was acting like an ordinary man. We get the enlightenment that our bodies are meant for Krishna, meant to serve Krishna because he owns us. So he should not have worried. And because, he was thinking that maybe I have killed all these, people, I deserve to go to hell. No. In fact, any actions from Lord Krishna, the actions are nullified. So you don't really have to. There were instances, because when we read in the scriptures, Yudhishthir Maharaj and the Pandavas did go to the hell for a little while, for some things. But very quickly, they went back to Godhead, or their abode, where they live. So we will stop here. Are there any questions that anybody has? Oh, anybody would like to add or would like to correct me or anything? Any comments? Okay. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagvat Puran ki Jai.